My name is Pegi Maidens. I was born Peggy Brown in St. John, New Brunswick, Canada. 89 years ago. I was discovered when I was at school. I was about 15, and I entered a Canadian verse-speaking competition. Lorne Green, who was our head announcer in Canada, he played in Bonanza. He played the father, Ben Cartwright, so that's how he would be known. He was the chief adjudicator, and I won that one, actually. And then I went on and on and on until we came to the end, and I was very lucky to come out the winner of the whole thing. And Lorne Green then stepped in personally to me and said, would I like to consider a career in radio at that time? And of course I was thrilled, just a young girl. I was thrilled to death about that. That was wonderful. And I appeared for auditions, and the first show I got was Henrietta the Harassed Housewife, and which got a great reception from the public. They loved it. And I went on to series after series after series of Henrietta the Harassed Housewife. And then, of course, I went on to university all the time, trying to keep up my acting career on radio. And until we came to 1952, and that's where I was asked to be on the first television program that went out one evening across Canada. And then it really all took off. Although before that, I'd been on radio and a radio series and a soap opera called, what was it called now? I can't remember what it was called. But anyway, it was so many years ago. Don't forget, it's about 60 years ago. And that was a great success. And then I did all different kinds of things. I was on the very first television program put out by the CBC. And, of course, that was very exciting. And I went on to do a series of plays. One was all the plays of George Bernard Shaw. I was in the very first play of that, where the rights to George Bernard Shaw's plays were given to the CBC to have as they want to act, get their actors and actresses together. And they chose me again. I've been so very lucky. They chose me again to play Candida in George Bernard Shaw's play, and that went down very well at home. And in the meantime, I got married. My husband wasn't keen for me to keep on with my career. He was English, so we came to England, and I gave up my career then, but I did a lot more before that I just cannot think about for the moment. I'll have to have a few minutes to think about that. Well, I moved to Eastbourne, and I fell in love with Eastbourne immediately. It was very different in its terrain to Canada. You know, it's terrain, but the people are the same nice people they've always been, and I've always loved them, and we always thought one day we would come back here to live permanently. We did buy a lovely flat on King Edward's Parade, Grand Court it's called. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but Grand Court, and we lived there for about 20 years, on and off. We bought it really as a place to come on weekends, bring the children down to the beach, and my daughter became a junior international swimmer, so I have Eastbourne to thank for that. And by the time we left here, she had a tracksuit absolutely covered from toes to top with little things for freestyle and butterfly and backstroke and all these things. And I used to take them down every day. My husband wasn't very well at this point, and I used to go alone he said we looked like a crocodile crossing the road, the 3 children behind me and all the others joining in and following us down to the beach by the lifeboat station. And there used to be a wonderful ice cream shop at beside the the lifeboat station, and then there were all the huts. By the end of our first year, we had two huts to go down to, and they had their bodyboards with them, and they spent all the time in the sea. And I remember there was a lovely young fellow, good looking, called Jerry Armstrong, who we used to look after the beach and all the boats that were washed up on the beach. And he became the chief adjudicator for Wimbledon and went all over the world. He was their last, well, not their last adjudicator. I don't know what's happened to him. I expect he's still an Eastbourner. He used to go all over the world with Wimbledon. And it was interesting to follow his progress. And my children made so many friends. My son married an Eastbourne girl. And the beach has been the beach all that time. I go down now and it still looks the same to me as it always did. Some of the people that I've mentioned have changed. They're not there anymore. But it's still wonderful. The sad thing is I came back without my husband because he died 19 years ago now. So he was never to see it again, and I did. And I really can't say enough in its favor. I absolutely love it. I remember particularly the pier, and it was very sad when I saw it recently. And I thought how disappointed and sad my sons would be to see it. The penny slot machines were all burned down into a big lump of tin, and oh, they used to love as little boys, 7 and 8 years old, those penny slot machines. And my husband and I could never get pulled away from them. They loved them, so we used to stay with them, of course. They didn't make any great fortune, but it spent many happy hours for them. I plan now to spend the rest of my life here in Eastbourne, in this wonderful place, really, Sunrise, which caters for, of course, all of us who are elderly. And I'm having the most wonderful time. When any of my family phone me and say, "What are you doing?" I have so much to tell them. They said, "Are you doing all that?" And I said, "Yes," and I go from almost run from one to the other, and the meals are marvelous. The only thing I miss, of course, is my husband, who died 19 years ago, 15 years ago, seems like 19, and I miss him very much. And he would have loved it here, but it's one of those things I couldn't have done any better than be where I am, and I shall live in Eastbourne for the rest of my life.